And speaking of the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, that you mentioned, what do you say to Canadians who say, well, you know, Mark Carney is already looking at these priorities. He's talking about growth. He's talking about diversification. He's talking about industrial strategy. So what's different in your approach?
Well, you use the right verbs. He's looking at, he's talking about. And he has been looking and talking quite a lot over the last year. But here are the realities. He has not signed a single new free trade agreement anywhere on earth. Not one. We rushed through special powers under Bill C-5 for him to rapidly approve projects a year ago. How many has he approved under that process? 0. How many new pipelines are approved? 0. Interprovincial trade barriers remain. The only tax reform we've had is that he's renamed the carbon tax the clean fuel standard. So it is time to go from all of these conversations to actually delivering real results, given that it has now been a year.
And how would your approach be different? What would you do differently?
On the domestic front, well, I'd make us stronger at home by immediately appealing the enormous spider web of federal regulations that block us from building. So I would repeal C-69, the anti-pipeline law. I would repeal the ban on shipping oil off the west coast of British Columbia. We have literally about 700 projects that are waiting for federal approval now. It means nothing to put 10 or 15 of them over to a new office, as the Prime Minister has done. I would remove the regulations for all those projects so that we can get everything built. I would eliminate the capital gains tax on anyone who reinvests money in Canada so that the $500 billion of investment that has gone south can come back tax-free to our country. Like I said, I would build up a strategic reserve of minerals so that we can use that as a dangle that as a negotiating chip when we come to the CUSMA review. I would basically focus on building up our strength so that we have unbreakable leverage facing down the Americans across the border.
Yeah. In order to get that tariff-free status.
That's right.
Because otherwise we are looking at tariffs on something, on a deal that we already negotiated to get free tariffs for. We gave up things to get to the free tariff status we are in a free trade deal.
Yes, exactly. And we shouldn't have to give up any more. And my plan sees us build new leverage that we can use to get those tariffs knocked down. That is, I think, the most pragmatic way, because ultimately, I mean, we know this president is not going to do anything for us to be nice. Mm-hmm. We have to have unbreakable leverage going into these talks, and the conservative approach is to build unbreakable leverage.
Did you see the news report that there is an Australian LNG ship that's going to discharge in St. John, New Brunswick? What do you think about that?
It makes me depressed. Think about this. We have 1,300 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, and yet we are importing gas from Australia. It's literally easier today to ship natural gas in liquid form from the other side of the world than it is to get it right here in Canada. This is an example of how the worst tariffs imposed in Canada are imposed by our own government. When we repeal C-69, we can pipe and frack and put that gas in liquefaction terminals that lower it to minus 61 degrees Celsius, liquefy. We can ship it all over the world in addition to supplying all of our needs here at home. Do you know natural gas goes for about $3 per million metric British thermal units, $3 in Canada, $11 in Europe, and $14 in Asia. So we could take something that's $3 here and sell it billions of times for 3 or 4 times the price overseas. The only thing standing in the way is the federal government. I'll get them out of the way.
I think you get applause on that one.